Iron Stories, Episode 9, Seas. Welcome back to Iron Stories. Today we embark up on a journey with our new two characters we created last time, Jebran and Katania. So they swore an iron vow to help on the expedition of the Lost Crag, this small village of the sea enclave, so of this community that lives by the sea. So this Lost Crag is some sort of sea community or fisher village maybe. So they came here to get Jebran is here to get some money for his retirement, more or less. And I had to look up for some stuff since our last session. So Jebran swore the iron vow, or basically made a contract with whoever hired them as muscle for this expedition, and only he gets the momentum. It's how it works. So just one makes a roll for progress, or for such things like swearing an iron vow, and only that person gets the benefit, but it's a roll for everybody. So Katania is basically the same quest as Jebran at that point. And also what I did a bit, think about a bit, is this keen thing. Normally it says when you hold a weapon and sing a keen for those it has killed. It's something. It's just because how it works. Or how I imagine Katania having it. It's not so much that she sings this keen in a sense, but rather she hears these voices in her head of some past memories or past. She doesn't know, and I don't know yet. And because of that, she gets, and basically these voices and maybe these souls or whatever, the spirits are enhancing her strike. So that's how so that's more or less how this works. So that's how I imagine these two things going on. So now I'm thinking about, so they came here on the promise of money, more or less, basically, and that's what they're after. Katania, of course, is more there to learn from Jebran, and Jebran is there for the monies. In a sense, it's maybe not that nice of a thing here, but well, it's how the world is. And so they secured their thing here. Jebran is more than eager to go on and finally do some stuff. And he is. He's on one point he's eager to go out, but she's also or he is also kind of sensible. He's thinking, okay, well, let's not go head first and just be done with it. It could be catastrophic if you do not know at least what could be going on. So what could happen. So he is, together with Katania, he's taking a look around the village, and from his background, it is that he is basically, or it's it's where he grew up. So it's more or less his home village. So he gets back there. He occasionally gets back here. I mean, just maybe once every year, or maybe once every 2 years, he comes back here just to catch up with the people, and he knows, hey, there is some work here to be done, and he gets back here for because maybe to like visit the graves of his parents. I mean, they're probably long gone. He's a little bit of an older dude. And also just to get back to the seas. He's a bit of an old sailor that, I mean, can't get rid of the sea, and it's why he seeks the adventure, more or less, because yeah, and maybe it's also why he normally works, is more comfortable alone with the sea. But at one point in one of his adventures, he found Katania, and maybe reluctantly got with her to case of, it's maybe like this, he's thought himself as a father figure. He maybe didn't get companionship that much, so that he could have children of his own. So he's more than happy to have at least somebody to pass his knowledge on, to leave some sort of a legacy. So yeah, but I mean, he traveled a lot, and that's what I also said in the character description, or in the character creation. He traveled around a bit, and he not only made friends at every port he landed on, but also some enemies. I mean, so yeah, so it's maybe he's maybe welcome back into his village, but there's maybe one or the other person that's probably not happy to see him, or they make a large, they try to go around him whenever they see them, so he can maybe also maybe a little bit selfishly use Katania as a shield, whenever there is conflict. They say, hey, I'm not here, not in front of her, and then he can like dodge a bullet, maybe at some other time if he doesn't want to, so to speak. So yeah, so these two are setting off, and as I said, Jebran is trying to find out at least what's going on, what they might encounter during the thing. So he just knows, okay, they're launching an expedition. They need some muscle to just accompany the people that go into this expedition. So he's a bit curious. Okay, why do they need muscle? Why can't they defend themselves? Or do they fear something like really awful coming along, or whatever? So he's trying to do that, and trying to gather some information in his village. And since he grew up here and has a bond with it, he gets a +1 modifier. That's good, because how it does works. Okay, so let's roll for that. And I think, I mean, I hope, yeah, so I get a strong hit here, which is, well, maybe not expected, but likely the hit here. So you discover something helpful and specific. The path you must follow or action you must take to make progress is made clear. Envision what you learn, blah blah blah. Take +2 momentum. That's something I understand very well. So I was thinking a bit what could this expedition be, and it probably makes sense for the seafaring people to go maybe. I mean, it says something about the Glade, which is kind of interesting for a sea enclave to look at the glades. So my idea, my suggestion is is like that this glade is is on a small island that is that they discovered maybe some time ago, and they want to know to check out. I don't know what could be on there exactly. They just know it's this island. There is like the island is apart from the beach, of course. It's heavily forested. So and they just know they maybe have so at one point one of the they did try to get a expedition previously, and so they sent out one person to choose the so they found this island, maybe a fisher or something found this island while he was maybe going out a bit out of his territory, so to speak, and so he got into this island onto this island. He looked around a bit and found the glade in the middle of the forest, but at one point got attacked by wild animals, so he had to flee because he's just a fisher. He just barely got out of there and hopped onto the boat and this fisher boat and get back to Lost Crag, and now they want to investigate this proper. So what this island is? It's something they've not seen before, so they're curious, so they want to do there. And since they know that there will probably be some wild animals there, it's something that they just want to have some security out there. There's I mean, mostly this expedition is maybe not led by the fiercest of warriors that they have here. It's just they're just curious. I mean, maybe they see here, okay, maybe we can use this island as some sort of outpost, or maybe we find some iron there. Maybe there's something to be gathered there, so we can create some weapons or something. So they just need to do this as basically a resource run, and they just need some help. They reached out, some sort of reach out. They asked around, and they were happy that at one point old friends from the village, or like old bonds of this village, so like Jebran himself answered to the call and came back to his own village to help them investigate whatever happened. So that's basically what the gist of it, that what Jebran got. So there's just basically a simple reconnaissance mission here. Just get out of there, just help those people just to have a look around, to maybe establish some sort of beachhead, a foothold on this island until they get settled, and then that's it. And so it's basically just be there as a lookout. It should be easy enough. Hopefully, I mean, you never know. But for them, it's clear. Okay, it's just a simple bodyguard mission here, and just some wild animals they fought before. So whatever. This shouldn't be big of an issue here. So let's just go ahead. So Katania is happy to comply. She maybe let's see. Let's ask Oracle here. 50-50, or yeah, maybe let's say she never sailed, or she never was on the open seas before. So she she's kind of curious and interested in sailing, or like going on a boat and seeing the open seas for the first time. So yeah, I would say they gather some resources or some supplies here around the village. As I said, Jebran is maybe looking around, hitching up with some old friends. It's how he gathered the information. And so, okay, I hear this rumor or whatever. So they venture now out. Yeah, I mean, I think I could say that this is fairly easy task here, progress here, to sail to this small island. They got maybe in a small boat. I don't know if it could be like a bit bigger of a fisher boat. There's like so there's of course Jebran here, Katania here, and there's maybe like 4 or 5 other people as well. They come all from the village, and they set out on this adventure. So yeah, so they sail out. With, let's say, let's make it a die roll. I mean, I can roll like 1d6 to see how many people there are there. So let's see. Okay, it says 6. So there's 6 people there, excluding Jebran and Katania. So there are 8 people. It's maybe a little bit cramped on this small boat, but I mean, they manage. So they start. They get into the boat. Katania is maybe a bit uneasy the first time because it's her first time actually going onto the boat. So she basically the first maybe half an hour she has sea legs, so she's a bit uneasy on her feet. Everything is an uneasy step for her. Until she gets a bit accustomed to the seas. I mean, they're not that well. I don't know if they're how stable like medieval boats are, but I could imagine that they're not the stablest in the water, so they get you can get seasick very quickly. Maybe, but she keeps it together. So yeah. So they start to travel. They starting to travel off, and it doesn't matter who I roll with theoretically. So I undertake a journey, plus wits, +1 modifier, because I'm setting off from a village that I will share boundaries. So I mark progress, but I suffer supply. The journey goes well, maybe not that smooth. I mean, it's probably not that big of a journey here. They more or less know. I mean, the fisherman is also on this boat. So let's note that down. So the fisherman is also on the boat, and he's trying to like navigate, say, okay, yeah, I think it's more over there. I mean, it's maybe also probably they started in the morning, so they wouldn't be able to. And he's probably not. I was probably not in the night, so they don't have like the stars to navigate. So he has to like go off with the maybe at first maybe a bit with visuals, but as soon as they get open to the open seas, when they don't see the landmass anymore, it's probably more or less like gut feeling and maybe a little bit of the streams, or he tries to find out where where this island could have been. I mean, back then, I mean, if you don't have like the stars to navigate, it's probably kind of hard. I mean, he probably can gather, okay, it was maybe midday, so the sun was there, and he was going there, so now it's that. So he could maybe like trying to figure out where to navigate to, just with star well, with one star alignment, which is basically the sun. But I mean, it's not that let's say effective or efficient to do that like that, and because he's a fisherman and not like a trained navigator, he's probably leading them a bit astray. And so the journey goes along, and they have to eat at some point. So Jebran just hands over a bit of rations to Katania, and they start to eat a bit. So yeah, so that's yeah, that's a bit yeah, so I don't know, so they just, yeah, Jebran just, that's how he lost his supply. Basically, it's just a ration that he loses, but just because this journey takes a bit longer than he's maybe feeling to. I mean, he's happy to be on the open sea, but he doesn't like to be on the open sea without a purpose, or without a good purpose, without a goal, so to speak. He likes to have some sort of goal, because he says, that's what he says to Katania, if you go aimlessly under the sea, that's how the sea claims you. If you do not have a goal, that's at that point, you don't start to pay attention to your surroundings, and that's when the sea will just get you. The sea is unforgiving. If you make a mistake, one mistake, and you're dead. It's basically the gist of it, that Jebran is parting that wisdom to Katania, and Katania listens to it, and maybe like the fisherman is also like overhearing them as Jebran is talking to Katania and saying that. And because she's a bit more, I mean, Jebran is like this old grumpy guy here that just basically says what comes into his mind, and he's not that that's maybe how he also made some enemies at the ports, because he just basically said what is up on his mind, which not everybody is happy to hear about, and so and Katania sees, like, from the corner of her eyes, the fisherman, as he hears that, yeah, if you don't have a goal, if you don't know where to go, the sea will just get up and kill you gruesomely, wash you over, and the fisherman, which is maybe not that hardy, like, it shrugs together at every word that he says, and he's now like questioning a bit himself when they ask you, okay, where to go next, and he's I'm not sure, there, no, there, now it could be there, and so he's a bit unsure where he is. He's a bit like intimidated by Jebran, which just doesn't give a shit. But Katania is a bit more she's more well, affectionate. It's a bit maybe she's more how do you say, she's more empathic with people, because she's maybe more affectionate. She's maybe more listening to her heart, so to speak. So she goes over to the fisherman and tries to calm him down and say, okay, just don't lose focus. We are going to be fine. We are here. You're not alone as you were before. So just try and concentrate where it is. So she's trying to calm him down a bit. So and in order for him to maybe concentrate a bit more on the journey ahead and where to go. So she's trying to secure an advantage here with like charm. So she rolls on heart, which she's really good at. She doesn't share bond here, so. Okay, but it's still just a weak hit. She at least gets +1 momentum, but he listens carefully what Katania has to say. So here, okay, just don't fret it, don't be nervous. Maybe just don't listen what the old guy says. He's a bit grumpy, and the Jebran just under his breath. He's like growling a bit, and looking at the fisherman again. At the fisherman, like shrugs again as he sees the eyeline or the view going back to him. He's like, oh shit, he saw me. Let's better get my shit together. Let's take a step further into the step further into the travels, and it's again. It's maybe like Jebran again tries to get a bit ahead. So he's a bit nervous, as I said, because he's normally on a boat with a purpose and with a goal and a clear direction on where to go. And since he is a bit of an old sailor buff, he's maybe trying to go on and help out the poor fisherman to recollect his steps. So he's maybe the one that's suggesting, okay, when was it that you set off? And he says like, it's I don't remember much. There were like animals on my heels, but I think it was in the afternoon, so after midday, because he remembered he had eaten on the boat when he saw and after that he saw this island when he got to, and when he got back it was dark, so he remembered, okay, it was midday. So Jebran is then the one that could think, okay, where was the sun? And then she says it was over there. So he could gather, okay, when it was over there, when you're moving out, and it's probably somewhere there. So he's trying to make heads or tails or out of whatever he says, and he's helping him basically to navigate and so he undertakes a journey here and adds a strong hit. So yeah, with that help for sure, he is now far more sure on how to see. Okay, so see, it isn't that hard. Like it gives him a clap on his back, and the fisherman just from the blunt force out of that just like halfway topples over and just gets back on his feet and so Jebran says, like, see, it's not was not that hard, was it? So yeah. So I think so they travel a bit farther here, and with the help of Jebran, at one point, so Jebran helps the fisherman out again, basically on the journey, and so I'm trying to now reach the destination. I make a progress roll here. It's okay, so it's a weak hit, which basically means I arrive, but I face an unforeseen hazard or complication. I can live with that. So Jebran is helping, or as I said, is helping the fisherman to recollect his memory on where this island could have been or is. So he's so he's helping him remember maybe a bit, and maybe it's a bit unfortunate for them, just because it took a bit longer to get back, to get him concentrating and to remember things, that it starts to even though they started at midday or at in the morning, it took them way longer than they expected. They thought, okay, the fishermen had like half a day's journey to there, so it shouldn't take that much longer, but it basically took the whole day and maybe also a bit into the night until they could find the small island. So it got dark. So that's maybe not get that great to be here in the to arrive here in the dark, if you don't know the layout of the thing here. So this complicates maybe the things here, but they reached the island nonetheless. So they found it again, and the fisherman says, yeah, that's the beach. I can remember now. That's basically the tree line, more or less, that I saw, or where I left off. So yeah, at least they found the island again. But unfortunately, they got here in the night. I mean, they probably got some torches with them, but again, it's unknown territory, and you go into somewhere, as I said, somewhere that you have no idea where you are. So yeah, it's probably not for the best, but well, they will try to make whatever. So they reached the thing here. I don't know if I wanted to make camp here, or if I just want to go a bit into the or trying to search for the Glade. So the question is, okay, I mean, we could do here, we could rest here, make camp here. But if we do so, we could also like try to make camp at the at the Glade. So which is maybe which could be maybe a long way into the forest or not, and but yeah. So the advantage if they make camp here is, of course, it's maybe just one side to defend on, whereas in the Glade, he doesn't really know the layout of the Glade, so they could be that they could maybe find a better place to make camp there, but they could also be surrounded more easily. So it's like, yeah, okay, we can at least get to the Glade, so we don't have to travel that far on the next day. But yeah, so that's it's here. Whatever. I mean, it's their money. So let's see how the other people are pressure. Are they maybe pressuring them to get as quickly to the Glade as possible? That's what they wanted in the first place, or is it they listen to Jebran and his more or less wisdom, and do that. I mean, they're maybe more eager to just get to the Glade. They're just that curious, and they don't care about what Jebran has said. It's basically, as he said, it's their money. It's their decision in the end. So it's maybe yeah. So yeah. Let's say it's maybe likely that they listen to him. So, but it's not. It's not that they will completely yeah, it's maybe like unlikely that, well, it's unlikely that they so it's unlikely that they do not want to get no, the other way around. It's more likely that they want to go to the Glade than it is to listen to him. But there is a chance that they maybe are listening to him. So it's unlikely that they listen to him. But it's not that unlikely to say. I mean, it's like there's still a chance in there. It's not unlikely. Just sounds so. Okay, no way, but there might be still a chance. So, long story short, let's roll for that. So, are they listening to him? Yes. Okay, 93. I even rolled, even with an unlikely thing here. They still seem to be reasonable. So, okay, they have this urge to go to the Glade to find whatever it is there, maybe some riches or whatever. But I mean, they hired Jebran. I mean, he's basically the muscle here. He doesn't have much to say. He's not the boss, so to speak. But when it comes to their security, they're more than eager to listen to him and what he has to say. So it's not that they just say, okay, here we're the boss, you have to follow us. I mean, they're here the maybe, yeah, let's say wisdom more or less in in his words. So so let's say, I mean, that's at least they listen to that. Okay, so let's roll. Let's make camp here then. And again, this is, I think, one of these examples where it's again unclear how this works with multiple people. I have to quickly check that up because I never played with two people here or two characters before, so I don't know how to handle that. I think it's yeah, kind of interesting. I mean, there's clear in how it works when you do the moves with multiple people. Well, kind of. Making group moves. So the exceptions are moves such as make camp into journey to provide specific options for your others to improve their status, and any change positively affects everyone in the group. Okay, so see, that's the point of it. So this short intercession was just there to clear up my rules. So the quintessential thing here is to say so one can make a roll, but everybody suffers the consequences, or suffers the mechanical consequences, and when you do make camp, in contrast to if I make them alone. But what I can do, since I am since I am let's say not alone, I can I think I can like 8, and they get a benefit to it. I don't know how this works exactly. This is not something really interesting for me here. Whatever. I just make camp with Jebran and ignore everything here. It's a weak hit, so I can choose at least one. So relax, focus. Yeah, so they focus a bit. So they create a fire, and onto the fire they start to think about the journey ahead. So Jebran is maybe also talking like taking Katania a bit away from the group. So just again, he's teaching her and says, okay, see, that's why we make camp here. There's just one side where we have to defend. It's basically just we are backed up by the sea. There is nothing coming from the sea out of the sea, or well, at least what he thinks. You never know in Ironsworn. And so it makes more sense to make camp here instead of the Glade, where we are surrounded all over by unknown terrain. So it's basically parting that wisdom to her in order for her to learn. So that's there. And then that at one point they go to sleep. I think they probably take turn in watches. There's maybe a third person there, or there's maybe another person there that could say, okay, I can also keep watch, and he's keeping first watch, and then Jebran, and then Katania takes the last watch. So yeah, so the night goes over, they make camp, so they gather, so they had a bit of with that they are more concentrated on the journey ahead, so they focus. So yeah, that's that. So they now, so at probably more or less early in the morning, they all wake up. They all make there wasn't any disturbance here, so to speak. And maybe they basically also had to fire up all night to keep them warm at least. I think that the nights could still get cold, especially if you're at near water. So yeah, that's how this goes. So now they go further ahead and say, okay, let's now venture into the wilds here, to see what we see here. So again, Jebran said to the fisherman, or they'd say, okay, fisherman, lead on. You probably know best where this glade is. You were once here before. Maybe you can try to retake your steps, and maybe also like Katania is trying to help, or like trying to find tracks for this, for trying to find tracks here. But she's a bit unsure. So she is, and as she is on this island, maybe a bit, and over the night, because she also she kept the last watch, when she was alone a bit, and the voices in her head are catching up with her, and maybe this, since she's out here and somewhere in this unknown place here, she is, the voices are maybe are maybe louder than she's expecting them to be. She hasn't heard from them for quite some days, but she now hears them again. So she is so she's listening to them, and the whispers seems to be pointing her, or trying to point her in a direction unknown to her. They're maybe trying to point her to the glade. So maybe the spirits know of this glade. There's maybe some sort of spiritual connection to the glade from the spirits, or with the spirits. So as she's trying to find tracks, she's constantly interrupted by the voices in her head, and she has like shake her head, and at one point she gives into whatever the whispers have to say. So I'm using her path, spirit bound, and I'm trying to get information. So I get +1 on this roll, but I might get disadvantage if I miss the roll here. So I gather information here, and get a +1 modifier on it. And with that +1, it's a strong hit. Okay, which is good because she gets +2 momentum here. And I gather this information. Yeah, I would say that the she listens to these whispers, and they seem to be guiding her very clearly to this glade. So at one point, like when the fisherman is trying to make heads or tails on where to go, Katania is just at first she's like trying to find clues, trying to find tracks, the old tracks that the fisherman may have left when he was rushing out of the forest. And so the whispers in her head, the voices in her head, they keep getting louder and louder and louder. And at one point, she's just kind. If you look from an outside perspective, it just looks like she just stands up at one point, and she just waltzes straight in a direction. And Jebran tries to call her out. So Katania, wait up! Where are you going? And she just doesn't respond. She just mindlessly just walks into one direction. And Jebran knows, okay, because she witnessed that, or he witnessed that before. And the voices are taking over. She's just like more or less like a mindless body, and just walks in one direction, and just Jebran just follows her along. And the others, because they're not sure what to do, and they see, okay, our muscle, our bodyguards are just straying away from us. We should maybe probably go with them, just to be sure. So they all venture with them into this direction where Katania just walks over, and then I would say like they just walk like half an hour into that one direction behind Katania, and she's just mindlessly walking into this one direction. And then, as like I said, after this like half an hour, they just reach out, and there is the glade. To just got out there, the forest. Well, the forest not definitely sets us up. I mean, it's a glade, so like the tree line just stops there, and there's like this big space within the forest. The glade that they've searched for, and they've reached just with Katania. And as Katania takes a step out into the glade, her vision comes back where she was mindlessly before, and she just looks around a little bit confused. Okay, where the hell am I? And Jebran catches up with her. He's the first to catch up with her, and he asks her the voices, and Katania just nods, and so Jebran knows, okay, it was the voices that led her here. And with that, I would say I end this here. It's a nice thing to end it here. So next time, we'll find out what the glade might hold. So they didn't encounter much here, but we will see. Maybe next time around there will be something. So we will hear us in the next episode.